how do you say, lazy? And I'm like, it's something the Dutch do a lot. How do you fail a class in the Netherlands? And in order to flunk it, you got to get less than 25%. Thing is not a good background process.
No.
Men don't like being told they're insufficient.
Forwardly treading waters. That makes sense? And I have the little like... Morning. We're finding mysterious reasons as to why our solid states are losing hard drive space. I mean, Aaron's true. He doesn't have Star Trek Online on there, but it's not like... Part of the thing that gets me is that he's like, well, I don't have Star Trek. I'm like, I get it, but you also have Hearthstone, and I don't. He also has Diablo 3, and I don't. So... it's not like we're drastically different in game sizes. I mean, I know Star Trek's big, but then I was like, Hearthstone, not really comparable. Diablo, though.
Also not really comparable.
Diablo and Hearthstone? That's the thing is, I don't think Star Trek's that big. It just looks like it keeps downloading a lot because it just basically re-downloads the entire thing because they patch in different weird places. And so, on other gaming news, I'm thinking of like reinstalling and doing stuff with Pokemon Go because the adventure sync isn't working. I even disabled it, closed Pokemon, opened Pokemon back up, and then tried it on the way to the gym because I'm like, that's a significant distance. I can understand it not getting the little like wandering around the apartment and they've just whatever, but like it's almost like 1.3 kilometers to the gym. That's a significant walk. Yeah. So yeah, on Monday I asked the butcher guy about Oster Gym, and he'd been going there for like 6 years. It's just that in the last year and a half he's been a little how do you say, lazy. And I'm like, it's something the Dutch do a lot. I'm like, you guys know. I mean, I understand you guys don't have the word right away, but it's almost like a weird crutch they have. And I've noticed other people, and I say it's a crutch because I would probably do the same thing, but Americans, we wouldn't say, oh, how do you say? We're like, like.
Yeah. There's also the fact that they might be, I wasn't there for the conversation, using it as a way to avoid embarrassment. It's one thing to say, I got lazy. Another thing to say, I got a little, how do you say, lazy?
Yes, I do understand that there's that little bit of, if you say it that way, it kind of adds comedy to it. And so but I've noticed when you're crossing languages, at least when they're coming to English, because that's the one I know most, they pause with, oh, how do you say, even if it's a simple or complicated word. Whereas people within their own language are like, the word. I should also probably ask Luke, how do you fail a class in the Netherlands? Because that thing, that I think it was Joe, shared that thing from Tumblr, was like, if you get below 70%, you don't get credit for the class, and people in Europe are like, I'm sorry, what kind of high standards you guys got? Have you seen that one?
I think so.
And that it's like, you can still get credit for a course if you get 50% here, and in order to flunk it, you gotta get less than 25%. Like, just the absolute grading scale in of itself is so different. And that's part of the problem, is that Americans feel like they're failing all the time when really they're getting 80% of the material.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, you didn't get A's, which sometimes is 92+%.
It's always 90+%.
It's always that. But some grading scales, especially within like middle school and high school, sometimes push it to 92, 93%. Like you get docked on your GPA if you're below 95%. By a lot.
Stupid.
Yeah. Unless this video's already gone live and Dario's on there and he's been like, oh, this is how it goes before I get to practice tomorrow. So I haven't opened Pokemon at all this morning and done my daily stuff. So I'm testing walking up here to the bus stop. That is damp and soaking through my clothing. But, so that's And I'm hoping to walk up here and then down to the bakery and back to the house and see if it adds anything. Because that, like I said, that's a significant distance.
Yeah.
And Pokemon isn't hanging open. There's no programs open. Because I don't like Star Trek draining everything. The thing is not a good background process.
No.
Hopefully my mother-in-law Christmas gift will come to Aaron's work today. I have a worry, the fact that I didn't put in your full address. I just put in the Prince Bernhard Plein 200.
That is the full address.
Yeah, I mean, you put in the zip code or anything like that.
Oh.
The full address. I just put in 15025
Yeah.
Northeast
Street
Millie.
address.
Yeah. So it's getting super frustrating about getting packages, and the fact is, like, I'm not necessarily sure where, because I tried to redirect it to Aaron's work, and they didn't take that in time, so maybe FedEx tried to redeliver it here, but as it's, because of the whole municipality issue and post-and-ill and whatnot, I'm like, do we address it here? Do we address it to, you know? And then on top of that, the one package I had that I did that Aaron told me to do it, and I addressed it to our apartment. I was on the toilet when the thing rang. And it's not like I could just, you know, just jump up off the toilet and answer the little phone. What all that's about, I got the email from FedEx that says, oh, well, you can go pick it up at this place. I'm like, I want to do that. And I'm just like, this is stupid. I'm just going to get a P.O. box here, probably sometime next week. It's frustrating as all get out that I can't do anything about these packages unless they got my thing this morning when I tried to get it changed over to Aaron's work. Nope. Nothing on the door either. The mail that built up on the stairs is kind of a strange, because it's like, I don't know. All right, now that I've showered and got a bunch of ick off and whatnot. So there's been a lot of backlash about that Gillette ad card. I find it funny that people didn't think there was going to be any backlash over it. I'm like, are you high? Of course there's gonna be backlash over it. Men don't like being told they're insufficient. Yeah, I'm currently aware that I'm not wearing a jacket, but I'm literally just going to the pool. So I kind of showered and got a bunch of ick off. Anyways, so we'll see about that one. I plan on maybe Friday talking about the Gillette ad, but spawning an idea. And hopefully this will remind me tomorrow morning to maybe record something. I'm burnt. I did 100 lengths. I shared that to James, and I shared that to Instagram and Facebook. I did at least 100. I was making sure that I was trying to keep metrics, but I just, there was a point there where I was going slow because there was a group of people, there was a group of girls actually that was just going slow. They're just being more social and kind of forwardly treading water. Does that make sense? I moved over to the fast lane when I got back, and then I just, because people were kind of puttering out at like 40 minutes into it, so for like 10 minutes I just plowed back and forth in the fast lane until it was just like I couldn't anymore. And so for the last like 15 minutes I went back over to the medium lane because people were starting to vacate it, and so maybe 110, because I don't know, I know I did 100 because of what I was counting, and I may have lost track being annoyed by the 4-pack of girls that was forwardly treading water. And yeah, it's fun, but I mean, metrics are metrics. I'm not competing with anyone. In fact, this is the first time I have nothing to compete with. I have stuff to compete with next week, you know. Try to do it in less time, but the thing is I was also like, there's only so much when you're trying to go as fast as you can and stay in constant motion of watching a clock and counting things. I said, I know like 100 is there. And because if I was doing a length in 30 seconds, I would do 100. And I was doing like a length in 35 midway through. Means I was going slow at some times, and right near the end when no one was in the pool, I was going super fast. Although I'd also figured out how to actually do the breaststroke properly. When I finally looked at my phone, when I was leaving, it was like 6:51, so Aaron has definitely beat me home. Although if he was doing the same thing he did yesterday, I have still beat him home. I was carrying it on one shoulder because I'm lazy and tired, and I was not this exhausted last time. I put my keys away. So I definitely pushed myself harder this time, especially right there near the end. Like I said, good thing is because my neck hurt last time. It's so stupid. I'm like, I'm not, it's not like I've never swam before. I have. In fact, I was on the St. Joseph swim team, excelling at my swim lessons when I was a kid. And then I stopped swimming because, well, it was expensive. And then I picked up track, and by picking up track, I was doing long jump, but then they told me to do race walking. And race walking I did. But then when we moved up to Vancouver, I wanted to do swimming again. And so that was competitive swimming. And that was actually two of the many times I realized I actually had a panic attack. Like, full-blown panic attack. Like, one of the things, I'm just telling Aaron because he's here now, is, I think I've told you this before, there was a swim meet in Lake Oswego, and it was our turn to do the relay, or no, it was my turn to do the freestyle, and they signed me up for the freestyle, and I hated doing the freestyle because splash, splash, water in the ear. This was after my surgery. So I didn't want to do freestyle. I was not going to do freestyle. And I got in my head, and then they were about to call, and I just did that like blackout, walked in the locker room, got myself changed, walked in the stands, sat next to my mom. I literally shut down. There was another time, I forget where it was, but I actually I almost had a stage fright one, and I literally was like curled up into a corner, breathing really hard and almost screaming. But this was after I'd done my stuff. So like I was like, ee, and then I went in, did the breaststroke, came back out, and I was but I was like, ah, yeah. 2 panic attacks when I was 7th and 8th grade. I was just telling them, it's not like I don't know how to swim, it's just that after last time having my neck hurt all the entire time, and I was like, what happens if while I'm underwater, I dip my head down momentarily and take the little strain off my neck constantly doing this. And I have the little like, and do that sort of thing. I noticed a significant speed increase as I almost ran into the girl in front of me. That's when I moved over to the fast lane and was like, maybe a little bit. Like I ran into her so fast, she didn't know I was coming up that fast. I'm like, oh crap. Anyway, so we're probably gonna figure out dinner. There's not much on television. I'm just gonna Odyssey probably and do all that jazz. We're probably gonna order in something so I don't turn the stairs off. We'll figure something out. I'll catch you guys tomorrow for practice. We'll see what's going on.